The strange relationship between gamers and companies. There's a pattern in gaming that keeps repeating. Sometimes a console becomes beloved, not because it dominated the market, but because it offered something unique that players connected with. These systems gain loyal communities, tons of fan-made content, and years of appreciation long after their official support ends. But behind the scenes, the companies responsible for them see something completely different. For the corporations, these consoles became expensive mistakes, long-term burdens, or internal headaches they wanted to forget. That contrast, players loving something while the company quietly backs away, creates a fascinating part of gaming history. These are consoles that earned the hearts of gamers but never earned the approval of the businesses that made them. PlayStation Vita, a handheld masterpiece. Sony tried to forget. The PlayStation Vita is one of the clearest examples. Anyone who owned one can tell you how beautiful it was. The OLED screen alone made it feel premium, and the hardware was so far ahead of its time that even modern handhelds still borrow its ideas. Gamers adored the indie library, the remote play features, and the portability that didn't compromise the performance. But Sony saw the Vita as a financial drain. The expensive memory cards, the high manufacturing cost, and the slow early sales pushed Sony away from the project. Instead of fixing the problems, they simply abandoned it. Fans kept the console alive through modding and passion, but Sony almost never speaks about it today. For gamers, it's a beloved gem. For Sony, it's a reminder of a business decision that didn't profit quickly enough. Sega Dreamcast, a fan favorite. Sega couldn't afford to save the Dreamcast, has a legendary reputation among players. It was creative, full of personality, and ahead of the curve with online capabilities. Titles like Shenmue, Sonic Adventure, Skies of Arcadia, and Power Stone gave it a special identity. Players still speak of it with nostalgia and affection. But Sega, struggling with years of financial losses from the Sega 32X and Sega Saturn, simply couldn't keep the Dreamcast alive. The company was under pressure from every direction, retailers, investors, and competition with the upcoming PlayStation 2. Even though gamers loved the console, Sega had run out of time and money. They pulled the plug far earlier than they wanted to. It's a console fans treat like a treasure, but Sega sees it as the moment they were forced out of the hardware business. Nintendo Wii U, loved quietly, hated publicly by the company. The Wii U had one of the most confused launches in gaming history, but the people who actually owned it appreciated it deeply. The off-TV play was useful. Miiverse felt like a cozy, creative community, and the console had titles like Mario Kart 8, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze that still hold up incredibly well. Fans who played on it saw its charm. Nintendo, however, viewed it as a disaster almost immediately. Sales were disappointing, third-party support collapsed fast, and the marketing never connected with the audience. Internally, Nintendo couldn't wait to move on, and they shifted all focus to the Nintendo Switch. Today, Nintendo barely acknowledges that the Wii U ever existed, even though the console has a loyal fan base that still defends it. Xbox One X. Gamers praised it. Microsoft treated it like a detour. The Xbox One X delivered something gamers love: clean 4K performance, quiet hardware, fast loading, and a premium build. The community praised how well it handled enhanced titles and how much it improved older games. But Microsoft saw issues. Supporting multiple Xbox One models stretched development teams, complicated marketing, and made the ecosystem harder to manage. When the Xbox Series X arrived, Microsoft quickly pushed the One X aside. They barely reference it now, even though many players consider it one of the best mid-generation consoles ever made. It's a rare case where gamers loved the upgrade more than the company who produced it. Geo AES, the luxury console fans, admired companies couldn't sustain. The Geo AES was the kind of console gamers dreamed about owning. It offered true arcade-quality games at home, something no other system could match at the time. The controllers felt premium, the graphics were stunning, and the titles, Metal Slug, King of Fighters, Samurai Showdown, created loyal fans. But for SNK, the console became a long-term problem. Manufacturing cost was extremely high, cartridges were expensive to produce, and the system was too pricey for mainstream buyers. Fans loved the power and authenticity. SNK struggled with a business model that simply wasn't sustainable. It's a console that earned cult status among players, but exhaustion and financial strain from the company behind it. Sega Saturn, Cherished in Japan, disliked by Sega's American branch. The Sega Saturn had a complicated life. Japanese gamers adored it. It had fantastic JRPGs, strong arcade ports, and impressive 2D capabilities. But inside Sega, the console caused intense conflict. Sega of America hated the surprise launch that damaged retailer relationships. Developers were frustrated with the complicated hardware design. The company constantly fought internally about how to market and support it. While fans still appreciate the Saturn for its unique library, Sega itself rarely speaks about it because of how much damage the console caused to the brand. It's a system loved publicly but disliked internally. TurboGrafx 16. Strong fan base. Weak corporate support. Players who grew up with the TurboGrafx 16 loved its colorful games, unique accessories, and standout shooters like blazing lasers and Soldier Blade. It had personality and a library that felt different from Nintendo and Sega. But NEC and Hudson Soft struggled to market it effectively, especially outside Japan. Corporate disagreements, poor distribution, and inconsistent strategies limited its impact. Fans kept supporting it, but the companies behind it never found a comfortable way to invest in it long term. It stands today as a console that gamers admired more than the companies responsible for it. PSP Go, ahead of its time, yet rejected by its own company. The PSP Go is one of those consoles that reminds you how timing can make or break a great idea. When it launched, many gamers were impressed by how polished it looked. The slide-up screen made it feel futuristic. The digital-only library was convenient, and the form factor was perfect for travel. It was lighter, more compact, and more comfortable than the original PSP. Players who picked it up early loved how modern it felt, especially compared to other handhelds of its era. It gave you the sense that handheld gaming was about to step into a cleaner, more flexible future. But Sony struggled with it. Digital-only distribution scared retailers because it meant no physical game sales, and Sony didn't yet have the ecosystem to support a fully digital device. Many PSP titles weren't even available digitally at launch, leaving buyers with fewer options. Internally, the company was torn between supporting physical media and pushing new ideas. That confusion left the PSP Go stuck in the middle. Gamers who owned it still talk about how underrated it was, but Sony moved on quickly, barely giving the system the attention it deserved. Today, the PSP Go is seen as a bold experiment that players embraced, but the company treated as an inconvenience they didn't know how to manage consoles. Gamers celebrate, companies wish they could forget. All these systems share the same story. Gamers appreciated them for what they offered: creativity, power, innovation, and charm. But companies looked at the numbers and saw cost, risk, complications, and corporate stress. These consoles earned a place in gaming history because players kept them alive even after their creators lost interest. They show that what gamers value and what companies prioritize.